Mohammed Ali Shah also on the broadcast with me. Now, Mohammed, you yourself have had a tryst with Bollywood. And we take a look at the fraternity and we witness that almost anybody who is a Bollywood celebrity has had consumed drugs in the past or continues to do so. So in such an environment, how do we ensure that the children, the youth are kept isolated from this menace?
Firstly, Megha, I really appreciate that the way you are steering the discussion. It's not just about how other channels are doing only about Aryan Khan. You are looking at the larger picture about how to improve the youth of a country, how to ensure that they do not fall into the drug menace. I really commend that. Having said that, Megha, firstly, people have a misconception that consuming drugs means the person is either ill-behaved or spoiled, or he comes from a rich family, so he is used to a certain lifestyle. No, that's not the case. Consumption of drugs is actually a mental illness which needs to be addressed medically, through counseling, through rehabilitation centers, through their various means to address it. But people presume it as, oh, so-and-so is spoiled, a rich father's son, that is why he is consuming drugs. That is not the case. Now, having said that, I will just quote a few statistics. When the Punjab government commissioned a drug abuse study in 2015, it found that 230,000 people in the state were drug users. That translated to 836 drug users per 1 lakh people in the state. The all India number is 250 per 1 lakh for 2012. According to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, even the figure of 250 drug users per 1 lakh users is very high when compared to other countries. So it's a menace that our country is battling with. And the best way to put an end to it is you have to counsel, you have to observe. It is very sad when a small child goes to jail or gets imprisoned for that. But it's even sadder when your child is consuming drugs and you are not keeping a watch on your child. Having said that, now there has been no evidence found against Aryan Khan at the moment so far. And I think it is really unfair keeping the child for 2 weeks in jail. Just because he is highlighted, it's not because some people are making it a political issue, some people are making it a religious issue. None of that. And one shouldn't bring that in this case, because it will only weaken the case actually. Like what Mahbooba Mufti has said, that just because his name is Khan, come on. I mean, you ought to be kidding. That's not the case. And let us not give it a communal or a political twist to someone's tragedy over here.
Right.
It is really sad.
So then my question being, how can it be better tackled? Because the NCB is saying that at this point of time, it's very crucial that every single one of those individuals who have been caught be in the police custody, be in the NCB custody. Otherwise, it will be difficult to then retrieve the information from the individual, keeping in mind his influential level in the society.
Absolutely, Megha. What happens is, if a person is highlighted, he is always, you can see an example in school, in a class. If a person comes in the limelight, he is likely to be picked upon more than the other defaulters in the class. It is a rule of life. And that is the same thing I would attribute it to Aryan Khan. Yes, his father is undoubtedly a very, very big superstar, and he is in the limelight. So he has been, it's like, oh, so-and-so is highlighted, let's make an example out of so-and-so. And I think it's rather unfair. And again, having said that, 23 years old is, well, people call him a kid. It's not about a kid. At 23, I was a lieutenant in the army, posted the line of control, safeguarding our national frontiers with high-tech weapons. But every child is different at the end of the day. Now, a lot of my friends from the army, in fact, when I served in the army as well, they were saying, oh, at 23, remember, we were lieutenants. Every child is different. No 5 fingers are equal. Everyone is different. Everyone has a different journey. Like the top of the class is a happy homemaker, but the backbencher of the class became a very successful anchor. So it all depends about what your upbringing is. And when we specifically talk about Aryan Khan in this, I think it's rather unfair, because apart from him, there are a lot of other people also who were part of this, and he's not even a drug peddler. And one more thing, I would just conclude, I know you're running out of time, I'll just conclude by saying, just because, okay, let's assume the fact that Aryan Khan is not just a drug user, but a drug peddler, which he's not, but let's assume that as well. I think it's rather unfair targeting Shah Rukh Khan, which people are doing. The Twitterati is doing that. Just targeting Shah Rukh Khan he's not responsible for an adult son's action for that matter.
Mohammed Ali Shah, your response with regards to a better way of tackling this entire situation. Like you said, because he's a celebrity's son, he is in the limelight. Perhaps the law and order agencies are also having a gala time in terms of, making this a huge issue, and it is the news channels and publications that are also raking in this entire publicity, a negative one that is being put on when it comes to Aryan Khan and Shah Rukh Khan and Gauri Khan and the entire Khan fraternity. How do we tackle this better? If not to be put behind bars, should he be given bail? And once he's given bail, what should be the next step of action? Is it for us to begin at this point of time to give a moral lecture to Aryan Khan, to Shah Rukh Khan and his wife, or should we just be keeping ourselves to the business and allowing them to fight this out?
See, Megha, rules are rules for everyone, irrespective whether you are the president's son, or you are a film star son, or you might be a laborer's son. Rules are rules for everyone, and if his detention over there is as per the rules, then I have no problem with it. But if it is not as per rules, then yes, there is a problem there and which needs to be addressed. Then yes, Aryan Khan should be granted bail because it has not been proved as yet. And the case is going on. And it makes no sense when a case, and there is no certainty. Till when will the case go on? Whether it will go on for another week, a month, it can go on. I mean, in India, and with all due respect, many times legality, the cases in legality, if you get into legal formalities, it can stretch for a number of time. So similarly, now the biggest concern here is the youth of India. Now, Aryan Khan can be a role model. He can be. I'm not saying he is right now. He can come out as a role model when he comes out and says, okay, guys, I was arrested for drugs at one point of time, but today I've come out clean and I say no to drugs. I'm a brand ambassador for saying no to drugs. When people like that, who have fallen into drug rackets earlier, people normally shy away from talking from it. And as you rightly pointed out, Megha, in the beginning, that suicide menace, it has become a very, very big concern. I'll just read out a small bit of data. What is alarming is the number of suicides due to drug abuse and alcohol addiction, which has more than doubled in the last decade in India. In the year 2010, 3,343 cases of suicides were reported, and the number increased to 7,860 suicides by 2019, an alarming increase. So now, how it can be tackled is when people who have gone through the same process as Aryan Khan earlier, I'm sure he's not the first and the last one. I'm sure there are people who were arrested earlier. They need to come out and speak up whether what is happening right now is as per law or unlawful. Someone who's been there, done that. Someone who has experienced that himself firsthand. When they speak up, I think it makes a lot of difference than somebody like Mehbooba Mufti who speaks then.
Okay, all right. A lesson, and perhaps this will help them mend ways in the future.
People are just trying to highlight him, as Ali said, that yes, they just want to highlight because Shah Rukh is very famous.
I will have to conclude this discussion. I thank all my panelists for giving their views and analysis on what is a developing story.